Welcome back to part 2 of the interview with Her Excellency Miss Ambassador of South Africa. And in this occasion, I will also like to remember that all of us, there is a South African Youth Month, and we're celebrating this towards the youth of South Africa and their younger generation as well. So this might be interesting for not just Norwegian students and international students, but especially South African students. So yeah, I'm very glad of doing this in this occasion. So up to the foreign students. South Africa has a lot of foreign students in our country, coming in from places across the world. How important is the number of foreign students for South Africa coming into your country?
You see, South Africa believes in collaborations. And there's a lot of foreign students that come to South Africa from all over the world. Besides our very good higher education institutions. But we believe that when foreign students come to South Africa, there's a lot of common knowledge that is shared. We share experiences, we share knowledge, we share a lot of things. So I learn about your country, you learn about mine as well. So I think this collaborative learning also builds both sides. If you go there, you have this experience of South Africa, but in your interaction with South African students, you also get something about South Africa, but they also get something from you. So it's very, very important to have collaborations in education.
Which study is the most common for Norwegian studies in South Africa?
I think it's quite a variety, but I think we also collaborate more in research and development. But I think we also have people going to various universities and institutions, but research and development is one of the priorities that we want to promote as well.
Yeah, and why is that something you would like to promote?
Research and development in many fields. I think pressing things today, climate change, name it, the energy issues, everything that is about the future, new technologies that we want to use for the future. I think, yeah. And I mean, so that Norway is known for its solar, for its renewable energies, and we can also assist in that development in the solar, because as you were saying earlier on, that we've got a lot of sun. So with your technology, we can be able to enhance that, and we can learn a lot from your renewables in South Africa, which we need so much. The country is it's got lots of rural areas. We're not only cities. I mean, like your cities are more. I think you do have rural areas even in this thing, but they're not as sparse as our countries are. The distance between the city and the rural area, in between there's literally nothing except the farms and everything else. So if we can get the technology so that we can improve energy supplies, improve the technology worldwide, digitization of a lot of other resources that we have will be of help.
And as you say, South Africa has a lot of sun,
Yes.
and which makes you able to have a lot of sun energy, renewable energy within sun. We have a lot of water energy,
Yes.
and it's a quite variety and a quite huge contrast between those two. What are the biggest cooperations between Norway and South Africa in those way of areas to prove both of them?
We cooperate very, very well with Norway. We have a long history of cooperation, starting from our time of anti-apartheid, support from Norwegians, as I mentioned earlier. But I think bilaterally as well, we have what we call the high-level consultations at ministerial level, where we have various government departments working on a variety of issues. Can be education, can be science and technology, can be trade and investments, can be culture, name it. But I think importantly, we also are working, South Africa and Norway have been working and supporting each other under the multilateral fora. UN Security Council, we work on peace security issues. We support one another. We also work on inclusion of women in peace mediations. We also work on, of course, combating climate change. So many other issues that we work together and collaborate, and we look forward to even having more. And I think we could work even more, especially on issues of trade. South Africa has a depleting fish industry. Our fish is depleting because of illegal fishing in South Africa. But over and above that, we want to be able to develop our fish sector, fishing sector, fish farming in particular, but specifically aquaculture, so that we can also be addressing, through that, address the food security issue objective, so that we can be able to, besides learning the technology and the skills, we are also feeding our people with long term. And
for Norwegian students, there is a huge contrast from coming from Norway to South Africa to study, and for South Africans, it is a big contrast to come to Norway. What are these? What does Norwegian and South African students have in common?
I think the aspiration to have knowledge, to know, to learn, to share experiences, and to share whatever knowledge they may have. And I think to exchange views, and I think to exchange the cultures, to exchange the different aspects. I may have a different view, and when you hear my view, we can find a common ground. Even if we're different, we can find a common ground to see things, not necessarily in opposition, but to say, okay, I appreciate your view, you appreciate my view, but this is what the situation is. But we have a common ground to that. But I think we have a common, especially with the Norwegians, they tend to go to coastal areas because it's a comfort zone for them. You have sea, you've got to be closer to the sea, even though our sea is warmer than your cold sea. Our sea is warmer, or the climate is warmer, but you tend to migrate towards the coastal cities, Cape Town, Durban, and Cape Town in particular, a lot of students in Cape Town. But I think I see it as a comfort zone, because this is what you're comfortable with, to be closer to the sea. Eat that fresh fish from the ocean, which we have plenty of. Some of it, even though we are trying to really secure because of illegal fishings.
Yeah, and that's a good point, that Norwegians and South Africans probably has a lot in common within the fishing industry. Is that if Norwegian students come to Africa, when we come to South Africa, what do we appreciate the most with the country?
I think the diverse culture. Norway, I think, is also moving towards having multiculturalism. We are having a lot of nationals living in Norway, and I think that is what we could actually be exporting to Norway, to see how multiculturalism is realized, that people from different cultures can actually live together as a unit and prosper together. That we are very proud of, that we call ourselves a rainbow nation, united in our diversity, the different cultures that we live there, whether it's cuisine or anything, name it, but we have been able to unite together. And I think that's what Norway students can bring back home, to say, when we are home, we have got these different cultures that are in our country. This is what we can pursue.
And you are a South African ambassador living in Norway. Mm-hmm. What do you think South African appreciates the most with Norway?
I think it's the support that we've, for me as an ambassador, of course, is the support that Norway has provided to South Africa in the many years that we've been, and continues to provide that support. And I think also the willingness to be able to work together on issues of interest, whether it's at United Nations or bilaterally in this thing. And also, we also have quite a number of companies that are invested in South Africa. I mean, your Scatec Solar is in South Africa. It's one of the biggest energy this thing. And we also have, I think we also aspire, both countries have got an interest in enhancing this collaboration of interest, and we don't see it ending anywhere. And that's why we have an embassy here.
Yeah.
We are here to stay, and we see Norway as a long-term strategic partner.
And you've got a quite wonderful embassy here in the Holmenkollen in Oslo, which is probably the best location you can find in the whole world, if you ask me. And one follow-up question to that. Norway is not that big of a superpower within the military, but within aid, we are quite one of the biggest contributors, each capita, with aid. And we are contributing a lot to South Africa. Which ways have Norway actually improved South African society?
Norway has done quite a lot for South Africa. I think we are benefiting a lot from, especially the higher education. We are proud to be and honored to be part of what they call the Panorama Strategy countries, where we have some particular, where we'll have exchange of research and development in other areas. And we also have this program called NORPART, which will have student exchanges and of course teachers and educators exchange programs, but also promoting student mobility, because we're trying to encourage that Norwegian students must go to South Africa, and of course South African students must also come to Norway, so that they both have an equal share of each other's education and of course know about the country as well. I think we look forward to these collaborations, and we appreciate that we are going to be able to share the knowledge, development and research in particular, in many fields. I won't be able to pinpoint a particular this thing. And we are hoping, but maybe before the end of the year, we will have formalized an agreement in higher education, so that the two ministries have a formal agreement on higher education institutions. And we want to also establish what we call higher education forum, where universities, in particular, to focus on what we call the previously disadvantaged universities. You see, there's been collaborations in the past, but they have been more focused with the already established universities. I mean, we're talking your Cape Town, Stellenbosch, Wits, and all those. But we want to have also include the previously disadvantaged universities, so that they also can benefit from the collaborations.
And on behalf of myself as a Norwegian, we can tell you that to support other countries through aid instead of military aid, like economic aid, is for me and a lot of other students the most important thing we can do. So I can tell you from my perspective that aid will not end in many years, and I hope on a longer collaboration with you.
You see, it was very important. The other day I was listening to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Norway, where he was talking about, yes, it's important to provide aid, but aid without development is nothing. You have to provide that aid so that it enables the country to develop. So the International Development Ministry in Norway, I see it as a very crucial ministry that also sees and contributes to ensuring that whatever aid is given to a country, it also talks to the development of that particular country and assists in enhancing the economy and also the well-being of that country for the benefit of the people.
And I can tell you that the people working in the foreign department of ours is the best of the best. Those are the greatest we have in this country. We have a lot of good doctors and inventions and everything, but the ones in our foreign department, I can tell that's the greatest ones.
Yeah.
South African uses a lot of money to promote South African languages and cultures to a new part of the world, so they're getting knowledge about South Africa. And how important is your promotion of higher education?
It's very important. I think, as I mentioned earlier on, that we are very happy that we're part of the Panorama Strategy, one of the countries in the Panorama Strategy, and we're also receiving some of the funding from the different programs. NORPAT is one of them for higher education, for research and development. And as I say, higher education institutions, we want to promote, the initiative that we're taking to establish this higher education forum is to ensure that even the previously disadvantaged universities become part of this network to be able to benefit from the exchanges that we're going to have. And I think also, above all, the agreement or the formalization of the agreement between the two ministries of higher education will also just formalize and ensure that these things are monitored, and also whenever there are bottlenecks, they're able to be addressed at that level.
Right, and it's a lot of international students watching this, and everyone knows about Nelson Mandela, as we talked about last week. But if you're going to promote something about the most important aspects of South African culture to younger generation students, what is the most essential of South African culture you would like to say?
Multiculturalism. We talk about Ubuntu at home. We call it Ubuntu. Ubuntu means I am because you are. I can never be able to prosper alone without the support of my fellow South Africans. And I can never be able to prosper alone without this other person being prosperous at the same time, so that we together can grow. Grow the economy, grow the culture, grow whatever we are working together with. Working together as a united in our diversity is what we want to be able to transport everywhere else.
What is the best thing about multiculturalism?
I thought I explained that. Multiculturalism helps you to not be individualistic and be selfish or be isolated. You learn about other people. Your scope broadens because you now understand things from different perspective of other people. Then those people also understand you. So in that way, you could be able to find solutions together of maybe even complex issues, but you're able to sit together and be able to find solutions, collaborate and find solutions together. But most of all, live in harmony together.
It's an important thing because not everyone knows that. And which is just so terrific that I can hear it from Miss Ambassador of South Africa, not just a normal guy at the street, but actually you. And South African has a lot of both black and white people living together. Which relations has these groups in today's Africa? And is there better or worse conditions today than was in previous times?
South Africa is only 27 years young. It has not been an easy road to where we are today. The society was segregated very badly during the apartheid system. And all of us had to come to realize the need for unity, the need to live together in one country in harmony. So much as we've been orientated differently, the whites have been orientated to say the others are inferior, and us being oriented that we can never aspire to be where the whites are. All of us are now learning the truth and to say, I can be what I can be. Today I'm so proud and honored to be the South African ambassador. Something that could have never happened under apartheid. And being a woman as well, it has been an honor. I want to be able to, many like me, should be an inspiration to the young ones, to say you can make it, even beyond an ambassador. You can be a president for that matter, if you want, in South Africa today. People in South Africa now are able to live together in harmony and peace, they even marry one another. So it is encouraging, and we are working together towards that. In every country we've got challenges, we still have challenges there and there, because inequality is still there, where we still feel the economy is still in the hands of those that are privileged. The majority of the people still don't have that equality. Unemployment is also a challenge, not only in South Africa, but of course we are concerned about that as our challenge. But we remain hopeful that this country will move forward as long as we work together.
Where does it, if you say one field where Norway and South Africa cooperate the most, where is that? We talked about higher education previously because we send a lot of students to you, but we also have a lot of sectors of industry, as we talked about earlier as well. Where's the biggest cooperation?
Well, right now, Norway, energy is one of the main things that are there. As I mentioned, scattered solar is in there, and I think we also have Equinor is also in South Africa, which is the shipping, because one of your strongest things in ship is the marine and shipping industry, and your energy industry. Those are the things that we'll look. But I think over and above that, we also have financial assistance for development, of course, in the country. Those are the areas that we are really focusing on. As I mentioned, that we would love to see more trade increased between the two countries. South Africa has got so much to offer. And sometimes we sit here, we say, hey, we wish we could have this, but it's not allowed it's not here because of the specific regulations that Norway has got to comply with the EU issues, and yeah. So to get South African products here in Norway, it's quite a distance. But we're very happy that I think it was 2 years ago we hosted a wine promotion event, whereby, of course, we worked with Monopol, where we promoted our Pinot Touch wine, which is a very unique grape in South Africa, and we're happy to see it in the shelves in Vin Monopol, but we wish we could have more, because there's just so much to offer. We've got one of the best wines in South Africa. We wish we could have more of those. We wish we could share our rooibos. I've seen this rooibos product within the market here, but we have rooibos, by the way, is a South African product. It's just that other people take it and rebrand it and put flavors and all this thing. We want to sell you pure rooibos tea, and it's got its own nutrients, and it's a very healthy tea to have. And in fact, they should have offered you rooibos instead of giving you coffee, which you are used to. Yeah, so we would love to be able to bring more. And the other day we were at an event, and they gave us beef from, I think it was from Namibia, which was very good. But we also have one of the best beef, and especially lamb. We've got what we call the lamb karu lamb, we call it. We've got apples. Of course, some apples I've seen. I think there's some apples in the shops. We've got some grapes that we sometimes see, and oranges from South Africa that we see. But what I'm saying is that we can have more. There's so much that South Africa can offer in this thing. So we want to see the promotion of trade increasing a little bit.
I'm so glad you're saying that, because I was supposed to ask you which way can our relationship improve,
Yes.
and that was exactly the answer. But if you're saying that on the individual levels, from both me and fellow students watching this, where and which levels can me and other students help South Africa and your region to grow? What are measures we can take to help your situation?
Well, this brings me back to when we become as an active citizen. You are youth people. You are youth, and the future is yours. There's this new development in technologies that are coming. Share the knowledge, share the innovations, share information, share your experiences, and maybe even in collaboration whenever you can be with your fellow South Africans, with your counter South Africans. You were telling me earlier on that you were interested in studying in Africa and African issues, African studies. Learn about the dynamics in Africa and see how those dynamics can play into the Norwegian society. What are the solutions that you can bring for the future? Technology, language, programs, whatever you may want to do, or research programs that you want to do, or even debates that you can have amongst yourselves. Talk about these things and find solutions together. Encourage communication between the two of you. You can have debate societies between South Africa on particular issues that are of interest amongst the youth. And through those debates, there may be some solutions, there may be some other questions that you want to find out or to answer, or further research towards a solution of a particular problem or challenge that you may be facing.
So writing text about Africa, read about Africa, and then we can find knowledge about them and come to your...
Indeed, because the future belongs to you. Solutions for the future are in your hands. We currently may be resolving future solutions of problems now, but for future you need to be thinking from here, where do we go? What kind of future do you want to leave for our children as well? So this is in your hands. You need to be starting to debate about those kind of issues. Where do we want our countries to be in the next, 50, 100 years, which will be in your time? We will not be there anymore. So that's a challenge for the youth.
And one of the things which are motivating a lot of us is that Africa has huge population growth,
yes,
and you are getting your poverty reduced, but then it's so many people it's so a huge growth of people,
yeah,
which is making the increasement of poverty instead of decrease, because compared to poverty and reduction, it's quite a bad thing.
Yeah, but I think in your interactions, do not forget the importance of the role of women in everything. I am very proud today and honored that my embassy management in this country, it's all women. The management of the embassy. And it is also reflective of the demographics of South Africa. For whatever nationality, the demographic that we have in the country, we're all there. Which makes me very proud. And we have managed to work together in harmony without saying, oh, you think you are better than, or we're able to find ourselves. We're human beings who will have different views and conflict, but we're able to resolve them and say, no. Even if you see it differently, try and see it from the institution's point of view. It's not about an individual view, but let's try and do this together.
Yeah.
Stopping us.
So why should Norwegian students promote higher education in South Africa?
I think it is a dual road. It cannot only be Norwegian students. Let South African and Norwegian students promote higher education respectively. We all have something to learn from one another. We all have something to teach each other. We all have something to work together for a common solution. Yeah.
I appreciate this interview. It's been a terrific time with you, Miss Ambassador. And of course, this is the Youth Month for South African students. And I'm very lucky to have this opportunity with you in this terrific month. And in this great occasion, you're as a site resident is wonderful, and your hospitality has been grateful. We have gotten to know you, and we have gotten to know South Africa, and that's not able for every student to do that. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Most welcome.
And yeah, I hope this will make our situation even closer, because I truly love South Africa even more than I did before after. So thank you so much.
Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.